This is the Roulette Master, and I am so excited today because one of my subscribers, Chip, says that he has an unbelievable new roulette system that's consistently winning money in the casino. And today we're going to put his incredible new Jumbo Jeepers roulette system in a head-to-head matchup against one of the systems I've been using to consistently win in the casino. And I can't wait to see which one makes the most money in 15 minutes. And we'll start with the one I've been using to win in the casino first, and then we'll get to his new system. This is going to be awesome. And here we go. We're going to look at the last number that hit, which is the 5 red. And actually, since that just spun, we're going to look at the one that hits now. That's a 25 red. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick 8 numbers, and that doesn't. And we're going to put $5 on each. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can see we already have 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to put 60 on the other 2. Okay, so there's 60, and then we're going to put 60 on first 12. And then you can see we have a 0 balance. Let's go ahead and spin with a 160 total bet. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. That is a 22 black. Nice $20 win there. So we're already up 20 bucks. Now what we do is we look at what hit last, which is the 22. And we put $5 on 8 numbers except for the 22 in that dozen. And then we'll put 60 on the other 2. Here we go. Okay, so we're up $20. Let's go ahead and spin with the 160 total bet here, and here we go. That's a 22 black, and we lost. So if you lose with this system, what you do is you're going to go ahead and we're going to leave the bets the same because we're still in that same second 12, but we're going to double the bets. So now we're at 320 total bet, and let's go ahead and spin again here. And that's a 35 black. Okay, that's a nice $40 win. You can see we're minus 100. And now when we place these new bets, we're going to put $10 instead of 5 because we had to double the bet. So we're going to put $10 on 8 numbers in the third 12, and we're going to leave out the 35. Okay, now we're going to put 120 on each of these other bets in the first and second 12. Okay, that puts us at a 320 total bet. And let's go ahead and spin. And you can play this with a lot less money. I'll share with you how to do that as we go through. I know this could be a little bit too much for some of you, and that's perfectly fine. You can play it with much smaller amounts. And we're at minus 60. Now we're going to go ahead and move the $10 bets to the second 12, and we're going to leave out the 21. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to put 120 on the other 2. So let's go ahead and do that. And spin. And a lot of times you can go a while without losing on this one. We just happened to lose right at the beginning, but that's a good way of sharing how to deal with this. And there's a nice win there. So we're at minus 20, and now we'll be on 18. So all we have to do now is just, since it's in the same 12, is just remove that one and put the other bet on a different number. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. All right, that is a 24 black. Another nice win, and we're up 20. So now we're just going to take out the 24 that just hit, and we'll put it on something else. So let's put it on the 15. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 28 black. That's a nice $40 win. We're up $60. And now we'll be on third 12. So let's put 8 numbers there. And leave out the 28. And then we'll put the 120 on first and second. Here we go. And let's spin. We're at 320 total bet now. All right, here we go. That's a 10 black. Okay, that's a $40 win. That's a good one. We're up 100 bucks. So now we'll be on first 12. We'll leave out the 10. Okay, and then we'll put 120 on the other 2 bets. You're probably asking yourself, well, when is he going to reset? And I'll share with you that here in a second. We're up $100, and let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That is a 12 red. Ooh, we lost those. So we're going to have to double up again. And there we go. And now we're at 640 total bet. This is a $2,000 bankroll. And we usually don't have this many losses with this system. When I've been using it in the casino, it's been doing much better than this. However, it's good to see how to deal with adversity. And we're at minus 140. And we're still in the first 12, though, so we're just going to remove the 6. And Let's do that. And remember, there's 20 there, so there we go. And let's go ahead and make sure that's what the other ones are at. They are. So each one of those bets has 20. We just moved it off of the 6 that just won. And let's go ahead and spend. Okay, that's a 23 red. That's a nice $80 win. We're at minus 60. So we're going to move the bets to the second 12. And remember, now we're at 20 each. And we do 8 of those. There we go. And then we were at 60 and then 120 and then we were at 240. So let's go ahead and put those out there. Okay, let's go ahead and spin and see what we get here. That's a 5 red. That's a nice $80 win. We're back in profit. And now we're on first 12, so we're going to do 20 there on 8 numbers. And leave out the 5. And then we'll do 240 on the other 2. And let's go ahead and spin. All right, let's get a win here. That's a 25 red. Okay, that's an $80 win. We're up 100. So now we'll be on the third 12, and we'll go 8 numbers at 20 each. Okay, now we'll put 240 on the other 2. And I will show you how to do this for less if you don't want to bet this big. I totally understand that. And we're at 640 total bet again, though we're getting close to resetting, and I'll share with you when I do that. That's a 33 black. That's a nice win there. We're up $180. We're getting close. Let's go ahead and take off the 33. So let's do that. And then we'll add it to a different number. Okay, there we're back at 640. Let's go ahead and spin. And we just had, the only reason we didn't have to do any more than that is because it hit the same dozen, and that's an 18 red. Okay, that's an $80 win. So we achieved $200 in profit, so we restart. We're up $260 now. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we started, and we're going to leave out the 18 and put $5 on 8 numbers. Just like that. And then we're going to have 60 on first. I put too many there. And then 60 on third. And let's go ahead and spend. That's a 28 black. And I just realized I made a mistake there, guys. Sorry about that. So that cost us 20 bucks. But what I did wrong was I accidentally put $10 bets on the 8 numbers. So let's make sure those are $5 bets. Just like that, and then we'll put our 60 and 60. And if you make a mistake when you're playing, just keep going and get back on track. So we're still up $240. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 1 red. And that's a $20 win. We're up $260. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we need to switch to first 12. And we'll leave out the 1. So we'll put 8 numbers over here. Every once in a while when you make a mistake like that, it actually benefits you. That one didn't help us much, but it didn't hurt us too much either. But every once in a while you'll accidentally do that. And if it hits the one that you accidentally bet more on, it'll pay huge. But obviously we don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and spin. Back at base level here and see what we get. That's a 16 red. Okay, that's a $20 win. We're up $280, and let's see, we'll do 8 numbers in the second 12. And then 60 and 60. There we go, 160 total bet again. Again, this is a $2,000 bankroll system. And here we go. That's a 0. So we definitely lost that one. And when you hit a 0, you can leave the bets the same because you didn't. That didn't affect the number that hit before that. So we're just going to double up to 320 and spend. Okay. And here we go. That is a 13 black. Ooh, we lost again. That was very unfortunate. We lost 2 in a row. Okay, so we're going to have to double up again. And let's go ahead and do that. We're at 640 total bet now out of a $2,000 bankroll. And this is why it's so important to have the bankroll in case you do have, hits like that in a row where you lose. And we're at minus 120 now because we had those bad losses. So now we'll take that 20 out. And then we'll add $20 in somewhere else. We'll put it right here and spend. All right, here we go. Let's get back on track here. Get some wins. That's a 3 red. That's a nice $80 win. So we'll be on first 12 now. And we'll be at 20 on each out of 8 numbers, and not including the 3. There we go. And we went from 60 to 120 to 240. So let's go ahead and put those out with $100 chips. Okay, let's go ahead and spend, and let's get back in good profit here. That's a 17 black. That's a nice $80 win. We're up 40. So let's go ahead and put our numbers here now and leave out the 17. Make sure those are right. Okay. There's 7, and then one more is 8, and then we'll have 240 on the other 2. That was a lot of losses in a quick amount of time, but it's good to see how to come back from adversity, and that's what we're doing right now. Let's see if we can get back on top. That's a 10 black. Okay, that's an $80 win. We're at $120 profit. So we'll be over here now. There we go, and then we'll have our 240 on the other 2. Okay, 640 total bet in. Let's spin. And I'll talk to you here in a second about a little modification I make if you have really bad luck. Okay, that's an $80 win. We're up $200. So now let's go over here. Okay, and there's our bets, and we'll put our 240 on the other 2. We're only able to do this because we do have that $2,000 bankroll. And let's go ahead and spend. So if you end up having a bunch of losses in a row and actually go below 0 profit, I do not try to get to the next level, which would be another $200. Once you get back over where you were before, again at the original 200, now we're at 280. You would go ahead and reset. And so that's an adjustment to the rule. Otherwise, we try to get $200 more profit before we reset. But we don't want to stay with a super high bet too long. That's why we do that. So let's go back to 5s. We'll put 8 of those out here. And here we go. There's 8 of them. And remember, now we're going to have 60 on the other 2, which is 120 total. So here we go. And let's spin. Let's build it back up again. Here we go. Got about 3 minutes left with this one before we get to that new strategy of the day from Chip. That's a 6 black. That's a $20 win. We're up $300. So fantastic. And we'll put our 8 bets over here. And then 60 and 60. But if you want to play for less, it's no problem. In fact, with any system that we do on the channel, all you have to do if you want to play for less is divide all the bets by the same number and divide the bankroll from the same number. So really, really simple, but let's go over how to do that. So we're up $320, and here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our 60 over here. Okay, now we're at 160 total bet again. Let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a 6 black. Okay, and a $20 win. So we're up $340. And for instance, these are $5 bets over here. So if we divided the $5 bets, like say these were dollar bets, you would just divide the $60 bets by 5. So if you take 5 into 60, that would be 12. So you would just reduce those bets and just make sure that you always divide by the same number. And then guess what? You get to divide your bankroll by the same number, which is nice. So instead of 2,000, you divide that by 5 and you have $400. So keep that in mind. You can adjust any of these systems. Just make sure that you divide everything by the same number, including the bankroll, which is really important. So here we go. Let's make sure we have the right number, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those bets. And let's go ahead and spin. And we got about a minute left with this one before we get to that new system of the day. And that's a 17 black. Okay, that's a $20 win. We're up $360. So let's place our 8 bets out there. Oops, I messed that one up. Here we go. There's 7 of them, but we got to make sure we don't bet on the 17, and then we'll have 60 and 60. Okay, we're up $360. Let's go ahead and spin. And this might be our last spin right here, right? Getting up to that 15-minute mark, and that's a 29 black. All right, so we had some struggles on that one, but we still used our bankroll to our advantage, and we made $380 profit in 15 minutes. Well, now it is time for the new roulette system of the day. Let's see if it can make more than $380 in the next 15 minutes and see which one of these systems is the champion of the day. And I'm excited to find out. Let's jump right in and get started with that new system right now. All right, the time is finally here for the new roulette system of the day, Jumbo Jeepers. This was originally called Dollar Store, and I think you'll find out why here in a second once we get started. Let's place the bets, though, and here we go. So we're going to place some $2 bets on the corners, and then we're also going to have a dollar bet on those other ones there, and same thing on the other side. So again, 2 on the corners, and then these other ones are dollars, and this is the dollar store. So now we're going to put $5 on the rest of those bets. And he says you can play this all day long, and you'll find out why here in a second. It's a $59 total bet. We're going to go ahead and spin, and here we go. That's a 9 red. Okay, that's a dollar win. That's the dollar store, but guess what? He says you just be patient and make $1 on every spin until you hit a jackpot, and then you cash out. So let's see if that works for us, and that's a 7 red. Okay, another dollar win, so we're up $2. And he said just be patient, keep making your $1 on every spin, and eventually you'll hit a jackpot. And a lot of those numbers are covered with a double street or line bet plus those corner bets over there. And let's go ahead and spin again. Let's just keep making $1 on every spin and see if this is a system you can play all day long like Chip says. That's a 32 red. And that's a nice $43 win there. That's one of those jackpot numbers. And we're up $46 already. And you can see that's because we hit the 32, which originally had $1 on it. Plus we hit the corner bet, which originally had 2. And we hit both of those with that number. So that's fantastic. And let's go ahead. And we also got the double street down there. So all of those hit at the same time. We're at $46. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. This is Jumbo Jeepers or the dollar store. And that's a 25 red. Another dollar wins. We'll just keep making $1 on each spin. He says you can just hang out and just keep making $1 with every spin. And once you do have losses like we just had there, then we're going to go ahead and double the bet. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go from 59 to 118 and spin. And then you just have to be patient and use your bankroll to your advantage. We're not going to make a lot per spin on most spins. In fact, we're just making $2 per spin now. But we're only minus 10. And once the bets get bigger, Chip says those jackpots get bigger. And then you just wait and be patient for another jackpot again. There's another $2. So before long, we'll be back up again. And then we'll just be patient and wait for another jackpot so that we can cash out. And that's an 8 black. And hopefully we'll stay away from more of those zeros. And in the meantime, just keep making $2 per spin. And here we go. Every number is covered, and except for the 000. There will be some partial losses, but not very many of them. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin again. And this is also a way to really build up comp credit because we're betting a ton to make a small amount until we hit our jackpots. So that's a $22 loss there. So if that happens, what he does is if you hit that one there, you go up by what you started with. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So remember this one, these bets, except for the corners, were just 1. The corners were 2. So let's add those in. Let's add the corners in first at 2 each, and then $1 on the rest of them. And then we'll add 5 to all the other bets on the bottom. And that's when you have partial losses. Okay, so now we're at 177 total bet. Let's go ahead and spin. And let's see if we can get one of those jackpots, and be patient until we do. Ooh, that's a $123 loss. So the 34 and the 1 are the same as the 000. You have to double the bet. So we're at 354 now. I was about to cover that, but now that took care of it for me there. And that's a lot of losses very quickly. So we need to start getting some good wins because we're only making $6 per spin now. And we're going to need a jackpot. Let's be patient, see if we can hit one. That's a 12 red. Okay, that's another $6. We're at minus 137. And so it's not going as smoothly as he says it would so far because we've had a lot of losses with a lot of numbers covered. But let's find out if that changes in the future here. And let's just keep winning $6 per spin. And we're building up tons of comp credit in the meantime. We're going to find out. We'll see how this goes. That's a $138 loss. And again, that's one of those ones where you have to double the bet. So my goodness. Now we're at $708 already. So the 34, 35, 1, and 2 are, and the 000 are, you double the bet on those. The rest of those partial losses, you go up by what you started with, and that's an 11 black. That's a $12 win, but man, my goodness, it's going to take us a little time. We are building up huge comp credit though, and I don't think that usually he has this many losses this early. So we'll find out if that's something that we can overcome. It definitely didn't start out the way that I thought it would, and let's go from here and see what happens. Okay, that's a 13 black. Okay, $12 win. We're minus 233. Because he says that you can just play this all day long, and let's find out. If we get a bunch more losses, that might not be the case. That's a $12 win. We're minus 221. And hopefully we'll get another one of those jackpot wins eventually. Okay, that's a 21 red. Okay, we're minus 209. And let's just keep building up huge comp credit while we're getting these wins back, and hopefully stay away from those 4 numbers. And that's, oh my God, look at that, minus 492. We hit one of them again, and now we don't have enough. Well, we do. This is a $2,000 bankroll system. Well, we don't have enough to quite double, so that's not good. So we can't place our next bet fully. In fact, if we do, let's see where that puts us to. It's pretty close. We'll go ahead and go with that. But it's definitely not going the way that I thought it would so far. So this puts us just over a $2,000 bankroll. Let's see what happens. And that's a $24 win. We're minus 677. It will be interesting to see what a jackpot would pay at this bet amount. And we're, again, it's huge comp credit. But, oh my goodness, another one of those. And again, when you get those, you just increase by what you started with. So we'll start with $1 up here, and then $2, $1, $2, $1, and then $1, $2, $1, $2, $1, and then a 5 on the rest. Okay, and let's spin. All right, that's a 32 black, or 32 red. What am I saying? And oh my God, that's $1,075. Now all of a sudden we're up $278. How did that happen? Okay, let's restart back to base level. My goodness. So it came, somehow this came back, but I'm not sure exactly how. Let's go through all this again. That kind of blew my mind for a second. And oh my goodness. Okay, so let's make sure we have this right. Remember, the corner bets are 2, the rest are $1. So So that looks right. And then let's put those corner bets. That kind of shocked me there. Oh my goodness. So that's right. Let's put the rest of the $5 bets down. So all those are $1 except for the $2 on the corner bets there. And then these are all 5s. Let's see if it goes any different this time. We're up $278. But that was all on one hit with the jackpot. That's a 3 red. Okay, that's a $5 loss. Again, partial losses except for the 1, 2, 34, and 35 means we increased by what we started with. So that would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Excuse me. 1, 2, 1. Oh, let me fix that. 2 and 1. And then we add $5 to the ones on the bottom. Okay, let me fix that one. There we go. And we're at 118 total bet. And let's see if it goes any better this time if things get tough. Even though we had a huge comeback there, we were in real trouble for a long time. And that's another one of those bad hits. That's one of the ones we have to double on the 34, 35, 1, 2, 0, or 00. And here we go. Okay, that's a 23 red. That's a $4 win. We're up 195. We'll just rebet and spin. And let's be patient until we hit another jackpot. That's a 13 black. That's a $4 win. We're up 199. Again, the original name of this system was Dollar Store because he said you just make $1 until you, oh my goodness, a 00. Until you hit a jackpot. But we've just had tons of losses with this so far. We're gonna have to double up again to 472. Let's see if this goes south or if it recovers again. That's a 30 red. It's definitely not good to get this many losses this quickly, though, I can tell you that. And we are building up huge comp credit, but it's much riskier than I thought it was going to be when I first looked at it. So we're at minus 21. We'll rebet and spin. And here we go. Yeah, you'd be with this system, you would be getting your tier credits very quickly. My goodness. And we're at minus 13. We're making $8 per spin now. And here we go. That's an 11 black. $8 win. We're at minus 5. We'll rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 32 red. That's a $344 win. Now we're up $339. Wow. So that's definitely a massive jackpot win. You can see there's plenty of jackpots. One here, and man, that's the 4, the 5, yeah. This is a very interesting system. We definitely want to reset now, but it's more volatile than it looked at first appearance. It's definitely it's getting in a lot of trouble a lot quicker. Either that or we're just having really bad luck. It is recovering because we're up $339, but I'm not so sure that it would continue to do that. Let's find out. Let's keep going with this one, and here we go. Remember, $2 are on the corners, and okay, let's put the $5 bets down now. But I'm not so sure this is a system that you can play all day long. Based on what we've done so far. Again, it's been exciting. It's been massive wins and crazy losses in spots. We're up 328. But remember, when you get partial losses, you increase by what you started with. So let's do that. So those are 5s. And remember, we started out with dollars on everything except for the corners. Those have 2. Okay, and then we'll put these over here. 2, 1, 2, and 1, and we're at 118 total bet. Okay, here we go. That's a 34 red. That's an $82 loss. That's one of those ones we have to double on. So we're at 236 again already. So again, the bets aren't staying as small as it appears. So that's a 8 black there. That's a $4 win. We're up $250. we'll just rebet and spin. But I could see if you had some really bad luck and you could hit a bunch of zeros in a row, or I mean, there's not a lot of numbers that can hurt you, but we sure have hit a bunch of bad ones since we started. So this definitely requires more testing. We have about 2 minutes left in this one. Well, let's see what happens, and that's a 28. It's a $4 win. We're up 258, and let's spin again. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a 26 black. Okay, and we're up 262. Let's rebet and spin. And a jackpot would be huge right here, but there's not a lot of them. And that's an 11 black. There's 4 of them there that are massive, and we're up 266. Let's rebet and spin, and that's because they include the line bet or the double street. They include the corner, and they also have a single bet on each number as well. So we're up 270. Let's rebet and spin. And we got about a minute and a half left with this one. Let's see if we get some good numbers. And maybe we're just we just got really unlucky there. Because we do have a lot of numbers covered with this one. It definitely builds up the comp credit, but a little more risky than I had previously thought. So I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this one. I'm sure we'll have some interesting comments on this one. And but that was definitely exciting when we hit those jackpots for sure. That's a 19 red. Okay, that's another win. We're up $282, and let's spin again. Here we go. That's a 33 black. That's a $44 loss. That's one of those ones where we increased by what we started with. The 34, 35, 1, 2, 0, and 00 double. So this one will just go up $1, $2, $1, and then $1, $2, $1, $2, $1, and then $5 on all the line bets. So let's put those out there. Okay, $295 total bet. Here we go. And actually, we're right at the 15-minute mark. Let's see what happens here. That's a 3 red. That's a $25 loss. That's just one of those ones we increased by what we started with. So we'll go ahead and do that again. All right, here we go. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 354 total bet. And that's a 25 red. $6 win. And our time is up on this one. We made $219 in 15 minutes, and that was kind of like a roller coaster. So let me know down in the comments what you think about this one. Thanks for sending that in, though, Chip, as always. And if you guys want to send systems in, send them to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. That's roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. So the system I've been using a lot in the casino is definitely the winner today. But can't wait to see what you guys send in to that email. And that's what it's all about with this channel, is sending in systems to test out in the search for the best roulette system possible each and every day. I love doing it, and I hope you do as well. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And we have a lot of fun doing this, so I think you'll enjoy it as well. If you're enjoying it, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. And I can't wait to see what you guys send in today. And we'll see you tomorrow. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.